Picture this, two guys trapped in the South Charleston Public Library. One guy loves movies, the other, well, he'd rather be watching reality TV. Can they survive each other's films? Find out on Real Opposites, a library podcast about movies. Hosted by Josh and Aaron from the South Charleston Public Library.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Real Opposites. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Josh.
And we're back to discuss the movies we selected last time. I selected...
Come on, get it out.
It's such a long title, though.
Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile.
Yes, that one. Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. And
I typed it in wrong several times.
Yeah.
Searching for it. So.
It is kind of a long name for a movie. And then you had me watch Terminator.
The original Terminator from 1984.
Yes. So I guess we will jump into the first one, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile.
Yep.
That's the movie I chose.
We will call from here to for the Ted Bundy movie.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we'll be referring to it as.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it's a 2019 movie. I chose this movie because I'm a fan of Zac Efron. I like his acting. I think he acts well in different types of movies. And we had already done one of his teen bopper type movies.
We did.
The
17 again?
Yeah, 17 again. So I thought this was quite the opposite.
Unfortunately, still fresh in my memory.
So I thought this was quite the opposite. And plus, I love serial killer movies and things. Yeah. So that's why I chose this movie. What did you think?
So Zach's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
In the movie. And they show some real life footage of Ted Bundy at the end.
Mm-hmm.
He really did nail his mannerisms, his voice. He even kind of looks a little bit like he's a little too good looking.
Yeah.
But aside from that, he generally kind of still looks like Ted Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated that it wasn't a glorification of the murders.
Right.
That's nice. That's similar to My Friend Dahmer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, unlike My Friend Dahmer, it didn't get into his psychology as much. It was more about I don't know, the whole thing. I mean, it was good. Mm-hmm. It was okay. It was a little aimless.
Okay.
It's mostly about he and Liz, their relationship at the start, and I liked the ambiguity that because they never really show the murders in the movie, not that I remember.
The only time they show anything is at the end when Liz is forcing him to tell her the truth.
Yeah, okay.
About where the one victim's head is.
Yeah.
It does show him hitting her over the head.
That's right. Yeah, okay. In the parking lot. Yeah. But up until then, I like that if you didn't know anything about Ted Bundy, you might be maybe he is, maybe, I don't know.
Right.
So I like that aspect of it. But aside from that, it was a little... it didn't really get too much into his issues and motives or psychology, and it didn't really delve too much. I think it was trying to do too many things at once.
Yeah.
And it's it's okay. It's not a bad movie at all.
Well, I think watching it back this time, because this is only the second time I've seen it.
Yeah.
I can see where you're saying it doesn't go into... You don't see into his brain as much as you do with My Friend Dahmer.
Yeah.
I do think they're adding a lot of things, just like Haley Joel Osment's character, Jerry. Yeah. That's an added fact. We didn't have to have that added. It was almost unnecessary in that point.
Yeah.
So they are adding things that maybe we could have done without, and it could have shown a little more about his psychology. I do think it captured the whole thing about him being almost like a craze to some women.
Yeah.
And almost like a heartthrob, although he was on trial for murder.
I get that, and then once it gets to, the trial, it kind of gets a little bit more focused.
Yeah.
Which was pretty good. And, how he kept escaping from prisons, which I didn't know about.
Yeah.
Which is pretty...
And I think some of it, the setup is... It may have just been longer than the setup needed to be with him and Liz, but I think a lot of it is because it's told kind of from her point of view in a way, a little bit.
Yeah.
Which she's wrote books on it and stuff as well. I don't know if this one's actually based on one of her books or not. I don't remember. but I think it's necessary for that setup to show from her point of view, kind of.
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, I like
and it
that.
does show his tender side in a way that shows you like why people fell for it, how it was so easy for him.
Very few, if any, like nobody's really like full on monster.
Right.
There's always something about everyone that is
true.
Maybe not like super tender, but like there's something that's there to
like a softer side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so, I mean, I like that it showed his more, a more well-rounded portrait of him aside from just like, something you'd see on like Inside Edition. Where
right.
it's just
Exactly.
Like, this demon, this devil incarnate, kind of stuff. And I like that it did focus on her a good bit, on Liz, and the toll it took on her.
Yeah. And honestly, the toll it took on him as well. A little bit.
Yeah.
When she stopped responding to him and things like that.
Yeah, like it did show like how especially the trial, like how that took a toll on him, and like, which I don't know how much of that's true. Like how much of it, like where he pretty much represented himself, and
he did.
That's how it went down. He like fired his lawyer, and
I was trying to remember if there was real footage of him in the courtroom or not at the end. I can't remember. But yeah, he did that.
I think there was. There was real footage of him, like they show at the end of the movie.
I remember the one is like when he comes out and they have the indictment.
The what?
The indictment.
Yeah.
And he's like, show me that. That's all you're going to get.
There's like a bunch of cameraman and like the sheriff.
Because they decided to do it in front of the public, which was not
that was in the movie too. So I guess that was cool that they showed the real footage of that.
And I think, like you said, it does show, which was my main reason for picking this one. It's one of Zac Efron's more serious roles, and it also shows how he is kind of what is it called, methodical acting? Is that what
method acting?
Method, yeah, whatever.
I mean, I don't know.
Is that what I'm talking about?
Method acting is basically where they don't break character.
Oh, okay, that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyways, but he does do.
I mean, he did. He does do
research, and he puts a lot of work into his characters, and I think this is one that showed it. Which
you can tell he put a lot of effort into getting the mannerisms and the speech, and
right. Which we also talked. He did with the other movie, even though
17 again, where he has to be Matthew Perry. Yeah, I mean. So I guess that's a talent he has.
Yeah,
he's pretty good at that. Yeah, I mean, it was okay. Like I said, I just wish it had been maybe a little bit more focused in some areas. Yeah. I felt like it was almost trying to be like a mini series that they
all wrapped into
a 2-hour movie.
And I can completely see that. And that's what I was saying, watching it back the second time. It's a little stretched when it doesn't need to be. If it was just a more singular line focus on everything.
So, like, if it had been a miniseries, like the stuff, for instance, with
Liz.
No, not Liz. The other girl.
Oh, the one that he had a kid with.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name.
Remember the actress's name? It's Carol.
Yes. Who was a real person, and he did have a kid with her.
They don't do a whole lot with her.
Yeah.
She just kind of comes across as like stalkery kind of girl, and they kind of fall in love or whatever, but I don't really know if I completely bought that. So I feel like in a miniseries, like you would have more focus on that. And like,
right.
This is a rare instance where I'm like, I think I would have rather watched like a 3-episode series.
Yeah, I think this would have made a great little episodic
than a movie. Which is usually the opposite because I want condensed and efficient. But
right.
I think
there was a lot of angles that they could have taken on this with a couple episodes.
That's what I liked about the Dahmer movie. You know, it was really just focused on this one period of his life, this few months or whatever.
Exactly.
And on what made him tick. And this takes a more like a wider.
It is a little bit wider
berth on the.
And it does, like you said with Carol, it could have went in a little deeper because she is an important part because she kind of became his spokesperson even in real life.
Yeah.
Because he had a gag order and could not speak to the public, and he would feed her stuff and have her talk to the news outlets.
Yeah.
And which they show like briefly.
Yeah.
And there's actually a real video of the real Carol doing it at the end as well.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
And plus, she did conceive child with him, and it did happen while he was in prison.
Yeah.
And
guards looking the other way.
yeah, So, but he had that charm, and that was part of it.
Yeah.
And when he did get to do interviews and things like that, you see that charm. And I think Zac Efron did a good job of doing all that. But
Yeah, he's a good pick for the.
Yeah, and that's what I had said before. It's weird. Both movies are Disney actors that started on Disney. This and My Friend Dahmer.
Oh yeah,
which we've talked about before. But and when you first hear about it, you're like, maybe not. But they both were perfect for those roles.
Yeah, they both did a great job. And I was very skeptical because Zac Efron, but he's
17 again.
he's proven to be a pretty good actor.
Yeah, he has.
When he's given good material.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's what I say. It just depends. He kind of molds to whatever the role is. There's another good one that is Paperboy with Matthew McConaughey and Nicole Kidman.
Yeah,
that's a serious one.
That's a good movie. Yeah, he's good in that.
And he's good in that. But I think, like I said, where I watched it back, I can't agree. It's a little too all over the place. It would have made great episodes.
Yeah.
But I think it still captured the fact that at least it wasn't glorifying the murders themselves.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't like in serial killer movies.
Right.
If you're going to show, like Mindhunter does an amazing job, which you need to watch.
I need to watch, yeah.
Like it shows you the graphic, how terrible the violence is, but it does it in a very clinical, matter-of-fact way. It's not like sensationalizing the violence or the killers, because this is a tragedy that happened, and it feels that, especially in Mindhunter, like you feel the weight of that over the whole show. So stuff like that is like I liked about this, where it doesn't glorify him too much. I mean, it makes him like a generally well-rounded character, and you're empathetic to him to a certain degree,
right?
But I think that's part of the point, is like that he can be so charismatic and charming that you could see how Liz all for it.
And I think that's part of it, in the fact that instead of it being so much about the psyche of all of it, it kind of dealt more with how charismatic he can be and how his relationships with people were because of that.
Yeah.
Why do you think, on a purely like speculative psychological note, why do you guys think people are so fascinated by serial killers, either by their crimes or why? I mean, a large number of serial killers have lots of fan letters and things like that. And not like I'm a fan of what you did, but like they get lots of letters in prison and stuff by people who are just like fascinated by their.
I think to a certain degree, some people are desensitized by it, like because they see it so much, and it's different to see like, listen to a podcast or watch a documentary, but like, I mean, imagine if you asked the cops on the people that are actually there at what like that see the aftermath. It's not something to be. I mean, like to be studied so that you can understand it, but
nothing to be glorified.
Yeah, nothing to be glorified. You should not have fans of serial murderers. I think part of it's that people are just like, I think that's with a lot of things.
I mean, but they do. Like that's the thing. That's,
I know. Yeah,
it's so weird to me is that they do have fans. Like, I mean,
yeah. I mean, I would never say I'm a fan of any serial killer. I really enjoy learning about them, and I think a lot of mine.
I wasn't gesturing to you to
No, I know.
You're a fan.
I know. But I mean, just speaking me personally, I definitely would not consider me a fan of any of them. I do find it very interesting, and I think a lot of mine is psychological, just what a person is capable of, and how their brain works in that area, and just what a human is capable of doing to another human. It's kind of crazy. As far as the fans, though, that's a different stretch. That's a different walk of life.
Yeah,
those people have issues.
Yeah, I definitely think, in like all honesty, there's some issues there, and they're searching for something to fill that.
I was reading a Psychology Today article to go along with this that was about like the women that write serial killers in prison.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of some of their, like the studies that they've done. And it tends to be like women who were either have some sort of background of trauma or abuse.
Yeah.
That either this is a way that they can, in a controlled environment, like engage with someone dangerous.
Yeah.
Or the other reason that many of them give is that the classic, like, they feel like they can
Fix them.
Yeah. Like
Right.
they can get them in touch with their softer side. And
Right.
it's like, this person is probably fundamentally broke. Like,
Yeah.
not the women, but like the serial killer, like, there is no going back to our softer side after
Right.
we murdered
Now,
30
I do
people.
think, and we've touched on it, that even somebody that's a serial killer does usually have a softer side or have issues of their own,
Yeah.
and maybe they relate to them with their issues.
I mean, that's the thing I probably find the most fascinating about them is their upbringing.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it seems like a general pattern is there was some sort of trauma or abuse
Right.
or neglect early in their lives that led them to view like other human beings as less than, that they can just dispose of, or
Right.
that the work, like, that's a way for them to work through something
Their issues.
aside from just going to a boxing class
Right. Or a therapist.
or therapist or something.
therapist.
It's like this is not a healthy way to.
And I think,
So, I mean, that's the thing I find the most fascinating about. That's why I like the Dahmer movie so much.
yeah.
And I would have liked more of that in here somewhere. Like, because they're really, in the movie, strictly in the movie, there's not really any motive
Right.
for him to do this.
Well, and I think the whole
So I think even just like a small glimpse of
right.
something to just,
Well, I think
like-
part of it is with my friend Dahmer, you're getting the story told from
His
a
friend.
classmate.
yeah.
And this one, you're getting it told from Liz, who is rose-colored on him.
Yeah. True.
So for a lot of that story, I think we're seeing that looking through the rose-colored glass kind of take on it.
Yeah.
So I think it was done on purpose in a way. But I agree. I would rather get a little bit more information on why things were happening the way they were.
Yeah.
Because you don't get that in this movie. You don't get really whatsoever the reason why he does what he does.
I mean, it just basically starts when him and Liz meet, and that's
Right.
just, you get the relationship, and then it's just he gets pulled over, and that kind of just starts the
Which, once again, that's when her
how-
story starts.
yeah.
So I think that's why it's that specific time.
Yeah.
But you don't really get a view into why. And I don't know that there is a lot out there of his reasoning, or
Oh, really?
I haven't read a lot about it, but I mean, it just depends on what side the story is being told from, though, too.
That's true.
I think overall it's a good movie. I still enjoyed it this time around.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid movie. Like,
Yeah.
it's a little like, as a movie, it's well paced. It does kind of fall into that, like, the aimlessness also goes into like the direction. I think like it's a little just kind of mediocre. I'll notice it if something's not there versus if it's there. Like, if it's there, like if something's really working, it should be kind of invisible. It's like a good film score. You don't really notice it. It's just there, and it's making
Right.
you feel. And with this, I was just kind of like, I noticed it was like, well, I see where they're going for this kind of grounded approach with the, like, photography and everything, and the cutting, but everything just kind of feels very routine and it's just standard.
Basic.
Nothing really. Yeah, just
Yeah.
kind of a basic approach. I
And I could see that 100%. Yeah.
something a little more, I don't know. I always feel like when I
Gas it up.
when I watch a movie, and I mean, and it's good. You need to do it sometimes. Like, you just have to know when to, like. So the standard, like, reverse shot when two people, like me and you were talking.
Yeah.
So there'd be like a camera over your right shoulder, and there'd be a camera over my right shoulder, and it'd be going back and forth, and you just cut back and forth. That's
Right.
good. You need to do that sometimes. But then what I'm always thinking sometimes is, like, I would rather see this in a wider shot of the two of them, to see their body language and
Right.
their movement, and like how they're expressing their dialogue through their body, their hands or whatever. I don't know.
So maybe like at the end when she's really in on him about what he did, like
Yeah.
getting him to confess.
Yeah.
Is that where you're saying like a 2-shot type thing would be
Yeah,
good?
yeah.
Like a
I
wide
mean, like,
shot
really,
there?
I think it's an easier way to do it.
Yeah.
Because technically you can have two cameras running at the same time, and you can get through the shot quicker.
Right.
But you can also get through the shot quicker. It takes more rehearsal. It takes more time to plan out the shot and the blocking. And I think, like, you do need to do both. It's just with this one, there was several times where I was thinking, like, that I wasn't as invested in, like, visually
shot.
like what's going on here. It just kind of is very matter of
Yeah.
fact, which is okay. You know, I mean, like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just more of a mundane way to make a movie.
Right. Probably something I wouldn't really notice, but
Well,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's
Yeah.
the difference. It's more like something that you, as a cinephile, does notice those
a
things,
cinephile.
or do notice those things. You do notice. Those
I do
things.
notice it.
But yeah, I mean, I could see where some more exciting shots could have been,
Yeah.
or a different way of putting it could have made it a little bit more
Yeah.
exciting as well. So I completely
I
understand.
mean, I
that.
get where they're coming from. They're trying to make it like kind of like a documentary style,
Right.
You know,
That's true.
so I mean, nothing wrong with it. It was okay. Like,
So on the real opposite scale, is this above Crossroads? Is it above Coyote Ugly? Like, where do we fall? I don't know
it's
what your
way
favorite
above,
one's
It's
been.
way above those two
I can't remember what your favorite one's been that I've chosen.
that you've chosen.
My friend
It was
Dahmer.
probably Dahmer.
Okay, so we're somewhere in between then.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be up there in the top few, I think.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
how
it's
do you know I'm not going to pick amazing movies here on out?
I don't know. I mean, or up until this point.
We should.
Oh, okay.
We should nail down the scale. So what is?
Well, I think bottom for you was
I think it's Crossroads.
yeah. Which is heartbreaking.
And then what is the best movie that you've watched on
That he's picked or that we've watched?
and that we've watched?
Oh,
That we've watched?
well, he's going to
Like
think
the ones that
his.
I've picked too or are excluded, right?
The ones that you've picked are excluded. The
Okay.
best one you've been recommended on the show.
Oh.
I guess
That was-
Last Night in Soho then.
Yeah.
Oh, because that
Yeah.
wasn't your pick.
It was not my
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Last
But I
one,
mean,
so that was a good
there's
one.
been some good ones.
Yeah. You like both the ones last week a whole
Oh
lot.
yeah, I mean both
Yeah.
of them are
Yeah.
both of the ones last week were perfect. Last time.
So, you
But
know.
yeah, I mean it's not like I still think Dahmer's the best one that you've picked.
Yeah.
But this one's like up there. I mean it's like
Yeah.
out of 5, I could give it like 3.5.
Okay.
So what's Aaron's
take that.
scale?
Let's go. What?
Your scale.
Like
What's
out of
the
5.
best movie you've watched on the
Oh, okay.
Oh.
on the podcast for the podcast.
That I've picked or that she's picked.
Yeah, or that a guest has picked. And then what's the worst?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, here's the
We need
problem.
a list.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Here's the problem. I can't remember most of them. Well,
I know you like The Godfather.
I don't know. There was a couple I liked. I've liked
Yeah.
The Godfather. I enjoyed The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
I loved Last Night in Soho.
Yeah.
I liked The Train to Busan.
See.
You like Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, Pulp
I like Pulp
Fiction.
Fiction.
I enjoyed RoboCop. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I did.
You like Showgirls?
Showgirls was great.
Which I'm gonna. Oh wait, maybe okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
So, I mean, I don't know. There's been
A lot of good ones.
I know this was going to shatter you. I think one of my least favorites was Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that could be just because that's the one that's most fresh in my memory. We've been doing this a while. I can't remember half the movies.
Oh, you really hated all that jazz also.
Yeah, you didn't
Oh,
like that.
yeah, that one too.
And you hated both of my picks the first time I did
Yeah,
the
the
movies.
Vampire
Oh.
Hunter.
Vampire ID and
that's true.
and Hero.
I think I slept through those.
Yeah, I don't think you gave
That
him a fair
explains a
shake,
lot.
but that's
I mean, I definitely tried.
Um,
So I don't know. It's weird it's hard for me to set a scale
yes.
because I'm all over the place.
Well, I guess recommend or not recommend.
For my movie that I picked, I would recommend it.
he recommended it to me.
That's why I recommended it.
You recommended it because you would recommend it.
That's right.
Also, like to mention how cool it was that James Hetfield had a little cameo.
Yeah, what did he
He's
what
the
part was
cop
he?
that pulls him over. The sheriff or whatever.
In the first one or the second time he gets pulled over?
I think it's the first one.
Okay. Because he gets
Yeah, I
pulled
thi-
over 2 different times. One time he like hurts the cop and takes off running after he
Is
escapes.
that the first one or the second
That's
one?
the second one.
No, it's the first one. It's the one
Like at the beginning of the movie.
The initial where he
Okay.
gets picked up for the making the car and everything.
Yeah, I was wondering because I saw here in the facts that it was the acting debut for James
Yeah.
Hetfield.
And he's got a little role like her that I when they're interrogating him too, and I'm like, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm a big Metallica fan.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about him really, but I also saw that they used their music too. Some kind of, or no, I'm sorry. The
Oh,
Four
yeah,
Horsemen
that's
was
right.
used in the scene where they're taking his teeth, which I thought was a pretty cool scene. Actually, they're
Yeah,
kind of like
that was
forcing
good.
it into his mouth and stuff. And that music, it was a good choice for that scene.
Yeah, so that was cool. I just thought that was really cool. Also, I like they did a really good job with his jailbreaks.
Yeah,
Like, I like that they showed him like planning the jump, like where he keeps, because I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Like, he's just jumping off his bunk. I'm like, but then he steps out the window. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
It really showed that thought went into it, and
yeah, they showed him
like what he did to prepare.
Clearly was a pretty intelligent guy.
Yeah,
and very methodical.
You get that when it happens in the movie, and then they also show the real clip of it. But the judge tells him, "You would have made a great lawyer. It's sad that you chose this path. I would have loved for you to like be a lawyer in my court."
Yeah,
and so it just kind of shows that he put on quite a show for real, but he would have made he was smart. He would have made a decent lawyer. I mean, he had the charisma, and you know, he just chose a completely different path.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Wasted potential.
Yeah. Well, I did see that Ted Bundy's former lawyer endorsed the casting of Zac Efron as Bundy due to Efron's physical resemblance. So where you were talking about it earlier, so it wasn't just you that thought that.
Yeah, I mean, he does kind of have like the general shape. Like his facial features are very similar, very like sharp facial features. I think like the real Ted Bundy was like a little bit more balding maybe, but aside from that, but he gets the mannerisms, like the speech patterns and everything. And like there's something in his eye. Like he does a good job really getting that across, which is pretty good for a Disney kid.
Yeah, that's really why I picked this movie. I just kind of wanted, because we definitely talked about his other teeny bopper movie, but I think he's underrated as an actor.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get more meaty roles.
Yeah, and because I think when he has something like this...
Okay.
I do think when he has good material to go off of, like he does a great job.
Yeah. Also, like John Malkovich a lot as the judge. He was really good.
Yeah, which the title of the film came from the judge.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I guess that's something he also said in real life.
It's in the movie, right?
It's in the movie.
Yeah,
but I think that's what he also said in real life.
I was just thinking, like, I was like, oh, they said it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, so that's where they pulled it from.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a solid flick. I liked it a lot.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Me too. I'm glad it wasn't 17 again.
Things like that. Well, I think I helped to redeem Zac Efron, and that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Zac Efron.
Thanks.
All right, so I guess we'll go to some messages from the library.
Yeah.
And then we'll come back and we'll discuss your movie, Terminator. Is it The Terminator?
It's The Terminator.
Yeah, I tried to Google it yesterday for some reason, and I kept putting Terminator, and it was like Terminator 2, Terminator 3. I was like, no, I want the original.
The Terminator.
Okay. Well, we'll come back and discuss The Terminator.
Hey everybody, this is Kendall from Youth Services bringing you our March update. We will continue to have story time on both Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 10:30. On Tuesday, we have alphabets, where we learn about different letters of the alphabet and the sounds they make. And Thursdays, we have words and wiggles, which is all about music and movement. I will let you know, however, that March 13th through the 17th is Kanawha County Spring Break, and we will not have any programs or story times that week. We also have a couple of great movies coming up in our teen movie club, Real Readers. On March 10th at 3 o'clock, we're going to be showing The Labyrinth. And then on March 24th, again at 3 o'clock, we'll be showing The Princess Bride. Finally, we're going to close out this month with a career night on Tuesday the 28th at 6:30. We invite you to come and learn all about different careers from A to Z. And whether you want to be an astronaut or a zoologist, we also invite you to come dressed as what you'd like to be when you grow up. So that is it for us for March. We hope to see you one day soon. And I'm going to pass it along to Toby for the adult services update.
Hey guys, we have some exciting news in terms of our adult programs this month. On March 13th, Monday, March 13th, we have appointment slots for a one-on-one tailoring class where you can learn to sew buttons, hems, any kind of simple clothing alteration you would like to learn to do. Then March 24th through 25th, which we'll talk about a little later in the podcast this month as well, we will be performing live at HerdCon. South Charleston Public Library will have a table at HerdCon with lots of fun stuff to do. And then we will also be performing live at HurtCon on Friday at 2:30. Then Monday, March 27th, we have a meeting of our book club. And our book this month is Nocturne by Alyssa Weiss.
Josh,
Yes.
The Terminator.
The Terminator.
The Terminator. What made you pick this?
Well, like I said last time, I haven't picked an Arnold movie, surprisingly enough. I don't know how that's happened. But now you're going to watch a couple of them in a row.
Nice.
So,
I've seen his one movie.
Yeah, you've seen Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way.
That's
I love
not exactly the high point of it.
It's a great movie, though.
You know, it does have a couple of good lines, like the "put the cookie down."
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
but aside from that, and Phil Hartman, he's great in that movie.
Is that the one that gets murdered in real life?
Yeah, that his wife shot him. I think.
Yeah.
Phil Hartman. Yeah, he's the next door neighbor, Ted.
Yeah, Ted.
God, how do I remember that
So
movie?
creepy.
So much. Anyway, the Terminator. It was really so Arnold had made Conan the Barbarian in '82. That was his first big role.
Okay.
And then the Terminator really solidified him as he's the big action star now. I mean, I've seen the Terminator, especially the second one, so many times. They're just ingrained in my soul at this point.
Okay.
And they're so there's something just completely fascinating about the whole thing, the conception, the execution, because it was it's not a big budget movie; it's a small budget. I think it was 8 to 10 million, maybe $10 million, which is pretty small for what they were trying to accomplish. For an effects action heavy film shot in a really tight schedule. And the reason it was able to be made was because James Cameron worked on Roger Corman movies for years before.
Mhm.
He was also a truck driver before that.
Who, James Cameron?
Yeah.
Oh,
He was just
cool.
he saw Star Wars. He's I'm going to become a filmmaker now. So he went to film school, and then he worked for Roger Corman, who made a lot of low budget movies, maybe even CD movies.
Yeah.
B movies, like Piranha and stuff. And so he worked on all those movies and kind of learned everything, learned everybody's job. So when he got to actually directing himself, he was able to really have a good hold on what everyone should be doing and how it should operate. So that made the production it more look like a bigger movie than it was. Right. And the efficiency of the script is really incredible because it doesn't really stop. It gets out all the exposition while everyone's moving, while they're being chased, and it doesn't really give you time to breathe too much once it gets going. And I just love the concept. I love that it's really like a horror movie for the most part, but there's also this is I don't buy it. This tender little romance between Sarah and Kyle that leads into the next film. And that, I don't know. I care about what happens to both of them. And I feel, especially, I really like Michael Biehn as Kyle. I think he does such a great job. With so little, it could have just been your typical kind of action role, action hero role. And originally Arnold tried out for the Kyle Reese role, which is kind of hilarious in retrospect.
Yeah, that is.
But I think he brings a real vulnerability to that character that makes him very empathetic. And on the note of casting, I'll just talk about this. For
okay, go ahead.
Hour.
Go ahead.
Who needs me?
Go ahead.
Arnold was originally going for Kyle Reese, and he was I don't know, I think I want to be the Terminator, the bad guy. But originally, so the idea behind the Terminator was he was supposed to be an infiltrator. So they were supposed to just blend in. So originally, Lance Henriksen, I don't know if you know who that is.
No, I have no idea.
Uh,
Was he in this movie?
He is. He's one of the cops in the movie. Paul Winfield, the two cops that are on the case, that are on the Sarah Connor case, all the Sarah Connors are getting killed. He's the other one. It's always handing him cigarettes or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So originally he was going to, and that's who he drew the original.
He was going to be Terminator?
He was going to be the Terminator.
Oh, okay.
And so this whole thing came about because Cameron had, I forget what he had. He had some sort of illness, and he had a nightmare about
He was starving. because he had been kicked off the set of Piranha and didn't have any money.
Yeah, okay.
And so he had to pay for his own plane ticket and his own hotel room in Rome.
Oh, wow.
And so he didn't have any money for food. So he got super sick because he couldn't afford to feed himself because he was just hanging around hoping to be part of the editing of that film.
And from that, Terminator was
And
born.
so he had a nightmare.
Yeah,
I should starve myself and see if I can become famous.
Yeah, Nightmare woke up and painted this, this what he had, which was a metal skeleton emerging from a fire.
Yeah.
And that's in the movie. That shot is in the movie.
Right.
But when he imagined the Terminator, his original painting was Lance Henriksen in the it was half
Was
of
the
it. Half
skin.
of it was the skeleton, half was human.
Wow.
So yeah, I love this movie. I think it just keeps looking better every time I watch it, in comparison to similar films that
Yeah.
are released.
To be fair, Lance Henriksen does play a robot.
He does
In
in
the
Aliens.
Aliens.
I mean, he's Bishop in Aliens,
Yeah.
in Alien 3, and
Yeah.
Alien B, ABP. Ugh, let's not talk about that. But he's in this really great show called Millennium, which I don't know if you ever saw. It aired in started in 99 or maybe
I don't know
97.
that I've even heard of it.
It's from Chris Carter, who made the X-Files.
Okay.
And the first season especially you would love because it's all serial killer. Each episode is 7 or Silence of the Lambs. It's really well written. It's very dark.
Oh, that's another one I did like. Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, you like Silence of the Lambs?
He's also good in Hard Target. I kind of forgot.
Oh
he
yeah,
was
he's
in that.
fantastic in
Yeah,
Hard
he's
Target as the
wonderful in
villain.
that,
Originally, that movie was going to be 2.5 hours, and most of it was about Lance Henriksen. And
Oh, the Hard Target.
yeah, they ended up cutting. The studio was like, "What is all this stuff with? Put Van Damme on the screen more." It's still he's really great in what he's given to do.
Yeah.
I've always loved him in anything. Anytime he pops up, I'm like, "Oh, Lance Henriksen."
That's probably
Awesome.
one of my favorite Josh suggestions. It was Hard Target. I
Target.
had a really fun time watching that movie.
Wilford Brimley on a horse with a bow
Bow
and arrow, galloping.
Did
toward...
we watch that?
No.
You might in
Oh,
the future.
this
might
was
in the
just a
future. Yeah, this is
personal
the movie.
recommendation. Okay.
He's
I was like,
galloping
man,
towards
I really
the camera as a giant building explodes into a million pieces.
Isn't that the
behind him.
diabetes guy?
Yes.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Does he yell diabetes when it
That would be
explodes? He's like,
amazing.
diabetes.
You also get lots of splits because it's a
Oh, yeah.
Jean-Claude
He
Van
does
Damme
splits?
movie. Not
Oh.
him.
Van Damme.
Van Damme.
whoa.
Van Damme, a lot of spinning kicks.
Okay, yeah. I could see that.
So oily.
Yeah.
And the mullet is epic.
I would almost rather the diabetes guy be doing splits.
Very
That's
curled.
impressive.
Like
Yeah.
it's got that. It's that men's perm from
Yeah.
that era.
And it's
the mullet.
It's John Woo's first movie, so he's still in full John Woo Hong Kong slow the editing of the action scene is really terrific.
I had a really fun time with that movie.
It's a lot of fun. Arnold Vosloo's in it, who is the mummy from the Brendan Fraser Mummy.
Okay.
Okay.
So speaking of Arnold, the Terminator.
Yes. Next time, Hard Target.
It's not a bad suggestion. It's
Next
fun
time
movie.
we'll talk about Terminator because we didn't this time.
Sorry.
All right.
But
So what did you think of the Terminator? Aaron?
okay. So you ready for this?
Go ahead. Break my heart.
I somewhat enjoyed it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I do think it, I don't know, and we've talked about this multiple times. When it's an older movie, I don't have the nostalgia that people that saw it more when it was popular, do have that nostalgia. They do have the nostalgia. I don't know.
They done got that nostalgia there.
They done did it. I don't know what I said, but hopefully that worked out. But basically, I don't have that nostalgia. So there are parts of it for me that just seem kind of dated and kind of slow. I don't know. I fell asleep.
Oh.
So
Audience error.
I think that's
could
more
be
of
too,
a you have a sleeping disorder.
yeah, that's also true. Okay, so maybe it's not just the movie, but I did go back and I made sure to rewind it to the last thing I remembered. And so I did see the whole entire movie.
The last thing he remembers is directed by James Cameron.
No, actually, I turned it off. I didn't fall asleep for that long.
Okay.
I just fell asleep long enough to. It turns out, actually, I fell asleep for 2 minutes.
Okay.
I thought I had fallen asleep for a long time, but when I rewound it, it was literally 2 minutes. Because what I had woke up to was them in the police station, and I was like, well, how'd they get arrested? But it happened in the scene that I remembered.
Oh, okay.
So I did go back and watch it all, and as a movie as a whole, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great concept. I really like the concept of it. The execution was pretty cool. There was a lot of neat scenes. I loved Arnold trying to repair his arm.
Yeah.
I also really liked Arnold taking his eyeball out.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And with you talking about the budget, like that stuff was really good.
Yeah, I think it still generally holds up pretty well. I'm pretty sure Stan Winston did the makeup on that.
Oh, okay.
Or like because it's a fully animatronic Arnold, if you can't tell.
I could.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still low budget, so it's like, but it's a pretty good likeness of him. But
Oh yeah.
a lot of the times,
I mean, it's
like,
not like horrible where you're like, oh
Yeah.
man.
It's just like some of the movements are a little jerky, but then like I kind of buy it because it's like a Terminator. So
Right. And that's exactly what I thought,
But
because
it's
I was like,
honestly-
man, that looks fake, and then I'm like, no, it doesn't, because he's a robot.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the reason like the stop motion in RoboCop
Mm-hmm.
on like the 8209, the big one, like it kind of works because it's a robot, so
Right,
you can buy into the
exactly.
stop motion. But honestly, it's like a better likeness of Arnold than like Total Recall, which costs like $100 million. They did
Okay.
like a full like makeup animatronic. Yeah, that was a cool scene.
Yeah, and there were a lot of cool scenes like that I enjoyed. I think where it falls a little flat for me, or the seeming outdated thing, is more just the the effects that they used when they were like, shooting their guns, and there were like these lasers. Some of that just seemed weird to me.
Oh,
I don't know. It's just like pew, and then it's
in
like
the
a little
future?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, but then I have to remind myself that it's also an older movie. Like that probably was how the effects were then.
Yeah, I mean the effects are like the lasers are all animated,
Right.
like hand drawn animated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I did not know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and so like when they get like wide shots of the future war stuff, like
Mhm.
it's like you have a foreground, and then a lot of it's rear projection, so that they're just projecting onto a giant screen behind you.
Oh,
And
okay.
he even does that in T2. Like that's the great thing about Cameron is he'll use whatever technique works for
That
the shot. Like so,
yeah.
he's got $100 million budget in T2, but he's still using the same techniques that he used for the $10 million budget in the first one.
Oh, okay.
And same thing, you go to Titanic, he's still using just like small, like just basic filmmaking, cheap techniques to
Right.
get a shot.
That's a good movie.
Titanic?
Yeah.
It is. It's a great movie.
I like it.
I've
I've seen it many
I
times.
saw it 8 times in theaters.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. I was a little bit obsessed with the movie.
I can't remember if I saw it in theaters or not, because I have a horrible memory. I do know that for a birthday when it came out, I got like the Titanic board game. It was hard. There's like 2 or 3 different Titanic board games, actually.
Was it like Monopoly? Like Monopoly that was Titanic, or did it? have its own
No, it
board
was
game or
Titanic,
whatever?
and it was you were trying to escape the boat.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh.
And you had to you were third class, and you had to collect certain items to be able to move up to second class. But then
Like a
something
board
would
game?
happen. Yeah,
Huh.
That'd be
it was
cool.
really cool. I still have it.
I
We can have a
figured
board game day.
It's like licensed from the movie?
Oh, I mean, I think.
I figured you would like this because it is like kind of a horror movie. Like the Terminator,
Oh, Terminator.
is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of at its core. The same way like Alien and Aliens is a similar thing where it's like the first one's a horror movie and then the second one like definitely
It's like action
it's
horror.
action horror
Yeah.
Yeah.
after that. But so how many deaths do you think, not deaths in the movie, but how many people do you think Arnold killed in this movie, The Terminator?
Yeah, I'm trying to count. Well, I mean, you got it at the police station. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably a lot.
On-screen deaths.
48.
39.
You guys are a little high. There are about 39 deaths in the movie.
Ooh,
But
look at me
that's
being
counting,
awesome.
the
Before-
other Terminator, like the before
Oh,
times,
okay, yeah.
and Sarah
Oh.
Connor's one kill. I think it's like, but
Also, everyone's kills.
that's everyone's kills.
Oh,
I was
okay.
talking Arnold's kills. His kills are, it's debated to be between 24 and 29. But did you know he is the deadliest actor by on-screen kills for
Oh,
movie
really?
actors?
It's probably like him and Bruce Willis a second.
It's-
Bruce Willis kills like 200 people in Die Hard too.
They have to actually die on screen. It doesn't count if they die in like explosions off
Or
screen.
what about
So it is, do you want to hear the top 10 or do you want to just you keep
It's a lot.
speculating?
10's a lot.
Maybe 5.
5? It's Arnold with 369 kills. Then Chow Yun-fat
Oh, yeah.
with 295 kills. Sylvester Stallone with
That makes
267 kills. Dolph Lundgren with 239 kills. And Tommy Saburo Wakayama with 226 kills.
I was thinking, what about the guy that did the Death Wishes? I feel like there's a lot of.
Yeah, but he doesn't kill that many people in those
Charles
movies.
Bronson has 113. He is in the top. He is in the top 25.
Oh, 25.
I think
I got real excited because I thought you were going to be like, he is in the top 10.
he didn't really like hit his like I'm gonna murder everyone until like the 80s. Like he started making like all the Death Wish sequels.
81 of Arnold's kills come from Commando. Where he kills 77 people in one scene.
Wow.
Commando is awesome.
All right. Well,
Commando is like the definitive 80s action movie.
I love it.
And it knows what it is.
yeah.
It's brilliant.
And weirdly, Charlie Sheen and Orlando Bloom are higher on the list than Chuck Norris.
Well, yeah, I don't think Chuck was really known for killing.
And lots of
He just beat him up.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, Charlie
Also, Chuck
Sheen.
didn't make that as many movies.
No.
as-
Charlie
like,
Sheen
he
has
mostly
killed
did, like, Walker.
131
Yeah.
people on
How many?
screen. 131.
Who?
The hell did
Charlie Sheen.
What?
I don't know.
I know like two Charlie Sheen action. Well, they're counting Hot Shots.
Maybe.
That's got to be from like the Hot Shots movies.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there's a really good Charlie Sheen action movie called The Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Christy Swanson. Also has Anthony Kiedis and Flea.
I don't know who that
and
is.
Henry Rollins.
I don't know who those people are. I know Christy Swanson. That's Buffy,
Well, yeah.
the original Buffy.
Anthony Kiedis and Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, okay.
And Henry Rollins from Rollins Band.
I don't know who that is or what
Anyway,
that is.
He's awesome. But
Oh, okay. I'll just take your word for it.
it's this fun little like action movie from like 94. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's ridiculous and it's kind of funny. But I don't think he kills anybody in that movie. So it's got to be from Hot Shots. Like the scene where he's doing the rainbow parody. And he's like, so he's just got like that machine gun, like all the shells just keep piling up until he's just like
Oh, that's funny.
covered in shells.
Yeah, I've not seen that movie, but you know what movie I have seen?
The Terminator.
The Terminator.
Why are you acting like this is a weird diversion? Like, this is very normal.
I'm just teasing you guys at this point.
Okay, so this is your second Arnold movie, I think.
I mean, that I've watched all the way through that I can think of. Now, I think as a kid I saw Kindergarten Cop, but I don't remember it. I mean, it's possible I've seen him in other stuff and just don't remember
You've
it.
seen parts of like Batman and Robin because you were talking about that.
Is he in that?
He's Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, I know about Mr. Freeze.
What killed the dinosaurs?
I don't remember that.
The Ice Age.
Does he say that?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
This whole role is just puns.
That's great.
Okay.
It's just cold puns.
That would be good. But yeah, I mean, so I guess really I'm not super familiar with his acting. So it was good. Like I said, I think it was a good movie. And I think, like I said, the main thing missing for me is like the nostalgia. So I think I just don't get as excited as people that have been watching it all over the years. But I do think it definitely comes into like a horror genre. That first scene where he's like naked walking up to those people.
That's great.
And he's like, give me your clothes, and they won't do it. And he just reaches in and rips the guy's heart out.
Yeah.
Like that was a beautiful.
That was
Yeah.
very like even when I was a kid, I'd seen all this stuff. I was like, oh wow, like 'cause
Right.
You
That's
see,
a
like,
lot.
You see
It was
the-
vicious, and
yeah.
you see it.
You see this like his arm come out of the guy.
Yeah.
Also, one of those guys is Bill Paxton.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think he's the one that has like the like tire on his face, like the
Oh,
tire
okay.
mark on his face.
That's
I think he's got like a
crazy.
mohawk maybe.
That's really
It's
cool.
Bill Paxton. And for years on the video, I thought one of the other guys was Michael Richards
Mhm.
because he just kind of looked like Michael Richards or Kramer. But then when it like came out on DVD, I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely not Michael Richards. And the internet happened,
Right.
But
IMDb. Thank you.
yeah, but yeah, that's Bill. Maybe like I don't know. It's very early Bill Paxton. Like, and him and Cameron became friends on the movie, and he's in Aliens, which was his next movie. Cameron's next movie. He was in Titanic, True Lies.
What's Paxton in Titanic?
Bill Paxton is the guy in Titanic that is like searching for the necklace.
Oh,
Like,
that's right.
In modern time,
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Bill Paxton's just awesome.
Hey, do you know what else Bill Paxton is in?
Twister. It's an amazing movie.
Twister's awesome.
I was going to say The Terminator.
Oh.
It's also
Way
in
to
the
go.
Terminator.
Way to go. Well, that is hilarious. I didn't know I mean, he has like a blue mohawk and is young. Like, I just didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
But when you look back at a picture of him, it's 100% Bill Paxton. So not Papa Paxton, but just Bill Paxton. I don't know what happened there. But it was just scenes like that I really did enjoy, and that really caught my attention. And I think maybe that's why some of the pew pew of the guns and the lasers seemed a little ridiculous to me, because it seemed like, and maybe it's because it's more practical effects.
Yeah.
But the ripping of the heart, the eyeball, the working on his own arm, it just seemed so much more like
you can feel
visual and detailed.
Yeah. Like you can feel like the oozing of
Yeah.
the blood and the flesh and everything.
Yeah. Like it made me flinch a little bit when he was picking out his eyeball.
Yeah.
Like
And
because I felt it.
I like when all the skin's melted off, you know, and everything, and he emerges from the fire, like that shot up, like it's panning up from the rubble, and like he pushes aside, like the endoskeleton pushes aside or something. And it's like, I'm still like, how the hell did they do that? Because you don't see they couldn't have like green screened someone in a green suit out of it from, you know, moving it. And it's just like, wow, it's really great. And the movement, even though it's jerky, I mean, it works because it's a Terminator.
It's a Terminator, yeah.
But yeah, and I love. You're eventually going to watch Terminator 2.
Okay.
But what did you think of Sarah Connor?
I liked her. Who is she in other things?
Linda Hamilton?
Yeah.
She was in.
I know that name.
Well, I mean, she's in Terminator 2. And,
She's in several Terminators.
Did you ever watch the Beauty and the Beast show? Might have been before your time. It was like in the late 80s.
I've seen episodes of that one. That's great.
Yeah, Ron Perlman, the Beast. It's a good show.
No, I've
From
never
what I
seen it,
remember.
but I liked her in this movie.
And she was in. I mean, Terminator's her most
Oh, okay.
biggest.
She's
Well, I
in
know the
Children
name
of the
for some
Corn
reason.
Children of
as
the
well.
Corn.
What?
Children of the Corn.
Okay, I probably saw her in that then. Is she like the woman that stops there? Probably
It's
so.
been a while. I don't remember.
If you've ever seen the show Chuck, she's Chuck's mom.
Oh, no.
Yeah, for a second there, Chuck had Sarah Connor, Timothy Dalton, James Bond. Had someone else who's like in a big franchise. Yeah, Chuck was pretty. I had a lot of big stars.
Chuck
there.
had like all of the cast of Firefly on it at one point
Yeah.
in
Oh,
time.
that's cool.
Anyway, the Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked her portrayal of Sarah Connor in this.
Yeah, I like that's one thing Cameron does really well, and he really has an arc for everything. Everything pays off.
Yeah.
And like I think I've talked about it before. There's a Sid Field who's a writing teacher for screenplays. He wrote a book, and he used Terminator 2 as an example to show like pretty much a perfect script, like a setup and payoff for everything from beginning to end, like for characters, for plot, themes. And he does that right at the start for this, like just her arc from kind of meek waitress, kind of invisible,
Right.
to, I mean, when you see her in T2, like she's a
final
Terminator.
girl.
She's
Yeah.
a Terminator, like in T2, and so the way he constructs that, and the way
She's a robot?
no, not literally.
Oh.
I mean, she
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
like,
now.
loses her humanity.
Yeah.
But even in this movie, like to see her go from
Yeah, there's definitely a character growth there, 100%, and she pulls it off like that when she's driving away at the end in her Jeep, and they're like,
Yeah.
"There's a storm coming." She's like, "Oh, I know."
and when she's like, "You're Terminator," at the end, like when she crushes it.
Oh,
she
yeah,
crushes-
yeah. When she crushes the
Yeah, it's
rest
like-
of the body,
It's
yeah.
like total like 80s
Yeah.
one-liner. Like,
Yeah, that was good.
It's nice.
Yeah, I thought she did great. I will say the one thing that I did have to rewind and watch, actually, I think I looked it up on YouTube afterwards, because I almost missed it, was the death of what's his name.
Kyle Reese.
Yeah. Because I think it was just,
It's kind of sudden. Like
it's sudden and it's so quick, and it's just not very, it's not a big scene. It's not,
No.
they didn't make a big deal of it.
I like that they didn't like that. I think it's just like I think a grenade goes off when they're in the plant, and he ends
And
up
he falls.
he falls and
And he like smashes his head.
yeah, and she's just like, get up, get up. Get
Yeah.
up."
And then when she rolls him over, that's when you see it. And
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, maybe I blinked and didn't see when she rolled him over.
yeah, I mean it's a quick death, but I like that it's not like you get a moment where she sees that he's dead.
Yeah, it's more of an intimate moment type thing.
Yeah, and then
And I get it for the movie, but I did almost miss that, and I just thought it would be more climatic, his death, because he's such a big role.
Yeah,
And
but I like that it's
because-
focusing on her. She's
Right,
She's
and
the hero of the story.
That is true. That is true. So he is kind of a side death. So I guess that does make sense. But I think it was all done well. I guess, so But he still somewhat exists in another world or
Yeah, don't
something.
get in. Don't try to.
Okay.
The logic.
Oh, okay.
Time travel movies is just like just go with it.
Yeah.
You know, like don't, because if you analyze it, none of them will hold up. Even like Back to the Future 2, like they really try to like nail every little thing down, but it still doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, my guess was, I mean, he just died in this time, which wasn't his time, therefore he's still alive.
yes, he's still alive in the
That's
future.
my guess.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's like,
Okay. That works.
Yeah.
But I liked it because I liked that he was the dad
yeah, and it's
and
like
all that.
it's
like it had a good
and
wraparound
like his
for
part
everything.
where like they're in the hotel, he's talking about the photograph that John gave her,
Right.
gave him of her, and you know he's talking about how he came across time for her. You know, it's like I buy that. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but
Oh.
I buy that. I don't know. His performance is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. I thought everybody was good in this movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, I wouldn't say I'm crazy about it like most people are that like it, but I did enjoy it.
Okay.
It was a good little action horror. You know, there were some shots that I just absolutely loved, which we talked about: the ripping out of the heart, the ripping of the eye, the really the really
ripping.
bloody parts.
You really enjoyed the ripping.
Aaron really
All of the
enjoyed
ripping.
gore.
Yeah. Which it was good gore.
It is, and it's like it you feel it.
Right.
Like when he
Exactly.
punches the guy, and it's like
You gasp a little
and
bit.
at that point. So you kind of like if you put yourself in the theater in 1984,
Mhm.
and so you don't know that he's what he is.
Well, honestly, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I had that experience. So when he punched that guy,
Yeah.
it was something that was just
So you're
like,
ju-
hold up.
So you're just like, wait, this dude's huge. So maybe
Yeah.
he's just like, okay, whatever. And then you get to the part, you know, where he gets shot like in the club, in the Tech Noir club,
Yeah.
and he gets up, and you're like, wait.
Right.
And then there's the chase, and then it gets caught on fire, and then Kyle's explaining what he is, you know.
Right.
It's like, but it's all while they're being chased by the Terminator, so it's like the efficiency is really terrific. And
Yeah, I did enjoy that. That it was just kind of as it went. You didn't have these long pauses of dialogue that you just don't need.
yeah,
Like it
yeah, it
was.
just never stops once it gets going.
It was exactly, if I was being chased by the Terminator, you know, we would be talking about it as we're doing it. And
Yeah.
it was like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's really like that for a long time until you get to like the hotel scene. Until then, you have to slow down until you get to
Right,
the big
for the arc.
climax. But a funny little fact is, so for that bit where the Terminator catches on fire,
Yeah.
Arnold had his eyebrows insured because he shaved them, like in
Oh.
case they wouldn't grow back. I guess he got
Really?
insured,
That's hilarious.
which is a commitment. It's like
Yeah, I mean, that is a
he
commitment.
shaved his eyebrow. I mean,
Right.
You know, this is it was like
That's wild. Yeah.
And like there's the scene where he's getting the car, like after he looks at the phone book and he finds Sarah Connor, and then he goes up to the car and he just punches the window.
yeah.
He just punched the window.
Just for this fifth.
Oh, you mean you're
just
telling me
punched-
he
just-
did that?
He just punched the window.
Oh, okay.
Like I think he's got like some chains on his arm, like wrapped up, like in his hand wrapped up, but he still just punched the window.
Like he really did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he ended up cutting his hand pretty good.
Wow. I would say
But like
Yeah.
Glass does that.
yeah, and also just a little trivia. And also the little truck that he smashes. Like when he's driving up to Sarah Connor's house for the first time, there's like a toy truck in the road.
Yeah.
That's the same truck that is at the end of the movie when he's chasing Sarah
Oh, that's
that he, it ends up getting blowed up in.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that's cool. I
That's
like little
cool.
things like that when they throw stuff in.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't catch on to that one, but
I like that he only has 14 lines in this movie.
Yeah.
And is
They
the
were-
title character and the main focus of the whole movie. It's less than he has in Conan, and he
He barely says
doesn't
anything.
talk in Conan,
Yeah.
basically.
well, I mean, I don't think
Well,
he
like,
needed
every-
lines.
every
He
one of
wasn't
the-
supposed to.
Yeah.
He doesn't need them, yeah.
Every one of
They
those
work.
14 lines is like,
They meant something.
Great.
is
yeah.
like, the Uzi 9mm.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my God. But like, and it's like, but you don't need it. Like,
No.
he does a really great job. And I think he's generally an underrated actor. Like, I mean, maybe, he's not like Paul Newman, but like he's got that's Arnold, and he's got
Right.
a presence and a charisma. But like when he's searching in the club for him, and he's like, his eyes go first, and then the head follows. Like
Right.
I buy it. Like, I totally get what
Yeah.
he's doing, and it really works. And you don't need a lot of dialogue. I mean, it's just Terminator.
Right. I think too much dialogue would have been weird for him.
Yeah, he's the shark from Jaws. Like, he's just unstoppable. Right. Yeah, awesome movie. One of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, and I can see that, and like I said, I think I'm missing that excitement from nostalgia, but as a movie as a whole, I definitely enjoyed seeing it. I'm glad I saw it. I mean, it's the Terminator.
Yeah,
probably one everybody should see.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those.
But because it does its genre really well.
Yeah, I mean, it works so well as both sci-fi and action and horror.
And there's so many good murder scenes.
And I mean, it was hugely influential. Like, there's so many just like Terminator knockoff, just random sci-fi action movies that, especially T2, like so many movies ripped that.
Right.
But yeah, so it's an awesome movie. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did.
Happy.
I was a little worried because where I fell asleep, I was like, I probably fell asleep for a reason, but I think it was just I was tired. But so when I went back and watched it, it didn't seem like it was very long.
Yeah.
The second half, like it was just so full of action and constantly going that, it was over.
It's hard to be bored by it. And it's like it moves really quickly.
Yeah.
Once the chase starts.
Yeah, that second half, I mean, it was definitely something that kept on going.
Yeah.
So I liked it. I think it was decent.
Title.
Oh, one last fun fact while we're talking about murders. Sorry. I saw this in the fun facts and I thought it was a good one. O.J. Simpson was considered for the Terminator, but producers feared he was too nice to be taken seriously as a cold-blooded killer. In 1990, before Simpson's first trial, Dark Horse Comics printed issues using his likeness. Obviously, though, somebody in this film was on trial. That was almost the Terminator was on trial for murder, and it's O.J. Simpson.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Yeah, he was who they like. He was he was bankable, I guess. Even though I mean, he wasn't like a movie star, but yeah.
Well, because they didn't have many lines, you could really.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a big guy, so I mean, I get it. But
well, I mean, Arnold was originally being considered for Kyle Reese instead of this, so he wasn't initially the Terminator role until because James Cameron didn't want him at all. He was going to like pick a fight with him and say he was impossible to work with and stuff.
Yeah.
Sarah, I came back through time to be with you.
I don't know that I would buy that as much.
Exactly. But Uzi 9mm? Bye.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a good. I've seen him in comedic things. I feel I feel like he
Jingle
could play,
All the Way.
Yeah, he's great in like Kindergarten Cop and Twins, and
I feel like he could play Sweet if given the
Yeah.
opportunity.
I like it. Like, it's a very underrated movie, but I like Junior a lot. The one where he is pregnant.
No, I'm not seeing that one.
Okay.
He plays that really well.
I haven't seen
I think it's one of his more underrated roles, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check that
But then
out.
he's
That's
done some more like
interesting.
dramatic stuff in the last several years.
Yeah.
There was that movie, what was it, where his daughter's a zombie.
Oh, that was
Maggie.
Oh, okay.
It's the girl from Little Miss Sunshine, Abigail Breslin.
Oh, okay.
It's a somber little movie. He's really good in it. Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
But yeah, he's Arnold. He's awesome. So Terminator and Ted Bundy.
Yeah. We both kind of like them.
Yeah, that would have been a team up.
Man.
Man.
They could have done some damage. There you go.
Yeah.
That would be a decent movie. Well, I guess that brings us to the end of both of those movies. We're going to do The Two of Us again, and then on Friday, March 24th, will be our live episode at HerdCon in Huntington, West Virginia.
Yep.
We're going to be live in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Of literally
5 people.
Yeah. I'll say a dozen people.
We might have, I mean, it will be worth it just in case anyone's coming and is thinking about coming to HerdCon.
Yes, you should come watch us because we're awesome.
You should come watch us. And then
we're so humble,
we're going on right after Sawbones. So
I don't know that we want to announce that.
So if you're coming to see Sawbones, please stay. And watch us. That would be really nice. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're funny and fun, so come hang out with us.
Well, I think we're funny.
I think we're pretty funny.
We all think we're funny.
This is true.
I think the podcast is funny.
Yeah.
I enjoy listening to it.
I know, me too.
Yes.
When we started this, I was like, and I think we talked about it. We were talking about starting the podcast. I was like, I don't like my voice, so I will never listen to it.
Yeah.
I listen to every episode, and I actually prefer when Toby sends it to me ahead of time. So then I'm just like one of the first people to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm hearing your request here. We'll see.
This and like the Murdoch Murders podcast are the two podcasts I currently listen to.
When we first started, I just thought I sounded like Cletus from The Simpsons. Well, you didn't like that movie?
I mean, yeah, some of the magic's in the editing, but we'll be fine live. We'll be good. You'll enjoy it.
It'll be fun.
But it just is a really cool.
You should come. You'll enjoy it.
Yes. I think it's a really cool accomplishment in a way that we started, and it's just been a fun project for us, and we're getting to do it live, which is kind of crazy that we're trusted to do something live.
Yeah.
Marshall will regret this.
We'll see.
Yeah, it could be our last live. So if you ever want to see us live, you might want to come to this one.
This is your opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
If you would like to see our podcast live, please come to HerdCon.
So it's March 24th at 2:30?
2:30.
2:30.
And HerdCon is 2 days this year, so it is the 24th and the 25th.
Yeah, and you should definitely check out both days. I think there are also going to be some panels the next day, and we're going to be involved in one of those.
We are doing an 11 a.m. panel the next day as well.
So, and then there's, we looked at the website, there are tons of vendors.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of other stuff going on.
I know there's a lot of cool ones. I know somebody that does, their group is Pop Stitch, and it's like stitched animal, or like, not animals, but
like
things out of movies and characters, and they're really cool. But it's just all kinds of vendors, and then there's we're gonna have a table there, and then there's all kinds of other entities that have tables as well. That's not a vendor.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of comics and probably action figures and toys and crafts and art, and so it should be a lot of fun.
I'm so excited.
I love Comic-Con.
So basically, that's gonna be. So we're gonna do one more episode, and then we'll have Comic-Con. Yeah. I mean, not Comic-Con. I'm sorry. HerdCon.
We are not going to California.
No. I seriously doubt we'll ever be live at Comic-Con.
We'll ever be live at Comic-Con.
Yes.
We just blow our whole library budget on renting a table at San Diego Comic-Con.
And we just talk at it whether we're allowed to or not. But yeah, so join us at HerdCon. But I guess for next time, we need movies.
We do. What's your movie for me?
All right. I'm probably sticking along a little serious route.
Okay.
And I'm actually choosing a documentary.
Okay.
And I think you've probably heard me talk about it. It's Mommy, Dad, and Dearest.
Yeah.
It is the story about Gypsy Rose and her mom.
Okay.
So
I've heard you talk about this.
Yeah. It actually was recommended to me by Todd, our director.
Okay.
And I watched it and absolutely loved it. It's just one of those films that it's just wild what the mom got away with.
Cool.
That's crazy.
So.
All right. Sounds good.
So that's my pick.
For you, Aaron.
Okay.
So I got an Arnold movie in.
Okay.
And now I got to get my favorite director. I got to get one of his movies in.
Who's the
director? I don't think we did. Brian De Palma.
Okay.
So I'm going to have you watch Blowout.
I've never even heard of that.
Which is my favorite movie of his.
Okay.
It's also one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite movies, too.
Oh.
It's got John Travolta, John Lithgow, and Nancy Allen.
Okay.
It's a terrific. I think you'll appreciate it because it's like it's a horror film in a way, but it's more like a Hitchcockian thriller.
Okay.
The technique, I think you'll get what I'm talking about because he's my favorite director. And I just love the way he shoots movies and makes and edits them and frames them. I think you'll get what I'm talking about when I was talking about the Ted Bundy, how it just kind of was like, it's a normal looking movie.
Is this going to be like a Mulholland Drive kind of movie?
No, it's not.
Okay. I was just asking.
It's not like some dream you have to decipher kind of movie. It's very straightforward.
Remember, if I have to think, I'm probably not doing it.
Thinking? Yeah,
I'm probably not thinking when I should be.
Aaron, we've been doing this for over a year.
We're well aware about your thinking capacity.
But yeah, so I'm going to pick Blowout for you.
Okay. I mean, it sounds cool. There's some cool people in it, so.
And we have it in the library. It's part of our Criterion collection.
Oh, nice. Oh, it's a Criterion movie.
It's a Criterion.
I've also had a Criterion movie on this podcast.
Yeah, you have.
Wasn't it Criterion?
Which one?
Was.
Squid in the Whale?
Oh, yeah. It's a Criterion. Yeah.
So, which we do try to have most of the movies we talk about in the library.
Yeah, we And we even have the Ted Bundy one on
Yeah.
Blu-ray only.
The only one we
way.
don't have in the collection that we have talked about is Smoky Mountain Christmas.
Yeah.
And that's because it doesn't exist.
It's
Other than like a VHS to DVD rip, which is pointless.
Yeah,
You can just watch it on YouTube.
Just go on YouTube and watch that.
But we do try to, and that's one thing we have here that I think most libraries don't have as, what do you call that when you, not cultured, not cultivated.
Yeah, we've
A cultivated collection.
Yes, of like classic and foreign films and Blu-rays, and we've
A lot of
we have a
different.
well-rounded collection. It's not just your standard new release
That's right.
fodder.
All right. Well.
So that's the podcast. Bye.
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 Oh God, I did that like Aaron.
You're all becoming me slowly.
Oh.
All right. So, but that is the podcast this
the
time
podcast,
around.
yeah.
So join us next time for the movies that we mentioned, Blowout and Mommy, Dad, and Dearest.
Yeah, Mommy.
And we'll talk about those.
Okay.
But until then, I'm Aaron,
I'm Josh.
and this is The Real Opposites.